Good afternoon, everybody. Big Mike back here with you once again. Welcome back to Big Mike Talks, where today I talks about the week that was in pro wrestling. Now, for this week, I actually missed Raw, so I will not be covering it. I instead watched Monday Night Football. Go Jets. And so instead, I will be covering NWA Power, AEW Dynamite, Impact Wrestling, their 1000th episode, and MLW Fusion. So sit back, relax, get yourself a beverage, and let's do this as we start off with NWA Power. And we have our first match is a Fatal 4-Way, and the semifinals in a tournament to crown a new television champion, as Tom Latimer has cashed it in for a world title shot. We'll get to that in a few minutes, don't you worry. So, participants: Dak Draper. Don't know where Mims is, hopefully he's okay. The returning Zicky Dice, former television champion in his own right. Judas, the monster from his group with Max the Impaler and his former partner, Gags the Gimp. And honestly, early on, Judas pretty much dominated. He did get slowed down a little bit by Gags. There was definitely a roll-up off from all four participants. Then after a power slam by Judas, Zicky Dice comes in, throws Judas out of the ring, and gets the pinfall victory and moves on in the tournament, where he will take on the other half of the Fatal 4-Ways in a couple weeks. So that should be a fun one. We then get an interview with the Southern Six. And pretty much starts off with, not Colby Corino, Kerry Morton. Pretty much saying, look, my dad's going to call this match later on right down the middle. You don't have to worry about him. But what we are going to do is, once that match is done, we're going to make sure the Southern Six comes out on top. So, nice, easy little promo by the Southern Six. Next match, we have AJ Kazana taking on Jax Dane. Now, AJ Kazana's partner, Anthony Andrews, has actually left the company after not being offered a contract. So, for now, no more Country Gentlemen. I don't know what happened to Jax Dane's partner. I hope he's alright. Overall, this was just a great big hoss fight. They went hold for hold, bell to bell the entire time. And Jax Dane picks up a victory with a camel clutch, which, honestly, that was impressive. Hopefully Dane gets built up a little bit more, and we see him maybe in a main event spot. He is an ex-NWA World Champion, after all. We then get a Ricky Morton interview, pretty much saying, look, I've repped the NWA since '85. I'm one half of the greatest tag team in NWA history. Gonna call this match down the middle. You can guarantee it. We then have a Rush Freeman, technically a Rolando Freeman interview too. He was there. Pretty much, Rush pretty much saying, look, my life is in shambles. I don't know what to do. I lost my best friend, and so then Rolando chimes in and pretty much says, look, I realize you got problems, but I've gotten you a gift. I went to Patrick Corgan and gotten you an NWA World title shot. And now it's your opportunity to show me how we do it. So, looks like Rush is getting a world title shot soon. That should be a fun one. Next up, we got the tag team match with special guest referee Ricky Morton as Colby Corino, the current junior heavyweight champion, teams up with Koa Laxima, who is relatively new to the NWA scene. I believe he debuted before NWA 75, as they're taking on former adversaries Homicide and Joe Alonzo. They beat the damn out of each other at NWA 75, and now they're teaming together. And honestly, this was a lot of fun to watch. This was a really good back and forth contest. Although the ref, Ricky Morton, definitely did the slow count for Kobe and Koa. But end of the day, after a low blow and a big old DDT, your winners, Joe Alonzo and Homicide. So, nice little tag team match. We'll see where this goes with all four of these guys, but, we'll see what happens. We then get a very interesting EC3 interview in which, he's actually in the arena this time, and he pretty much says, look, where's Tom? I want to get Tom Latimer out here. Why hasn't he accepted my challenge? Tom Latimer comes out. He's about to say something. Pretty much saying, alright, let's get to business. EC3 says, look, I've become who I'm supposed to be. And what I say, I do. Are you cashing in your title shot? Then out of nowhere, Camille comes out, who is the significant other of Tom Latimer, the also former NWA Women's Champion. Pretty much says, look, anyone, you won the world title, you beat Tyrus. You politicked your way to the top, and you beat Tyrus. Hell, Gags could have beaten Tyrus. So, NWA taking their shots a little bit at Tyrus. And then Camille calls him a freak. So, then EC3 chimes back up. Look, you fell short the last time we had a match. Don't make the same mistake twice. And I'll see you in Cleveland. So, nice little setup for NWA's next pay-per-view in October. Should be a fun one. I'm definitely looking forward to EC3 and Tom Latimer. Then we got this weird little Chris Adonis interview, which he says, look, I've been obsessed with the TV title for a while now. I'm going to win the Fatal 4-Way next week. And then once I do, I'm going to use it to move up to the NWA World title. So we do have a clear picture for Mr. Adonis. We'll see what happens. And find Alamo for Power. It's our main event. You got Kenzie Page taking on Samantha Starr. Now, initially, this wasn't going to be a title match. But apparently that was changed to a title defense for Kenzie Page. And honestly, for a long time, Samantha Starr dominated this match. However, Kenzie Page got back into it and hit a Kenzie Cutter for the victory. A nice, a kind of short but sweet little match at the end there. And honestly, I'm definitely interested to see where Kenzie Page goes with this title reign. It's been pretty interesting so far. Alright, next up we got a little AEW Dynamite. And we kick off with the international title on the line as Big Bill challenges Jon Moxley And of course, it wouldn't be a Moxley match if he didn't have copious amounts of blood spilling out of his head. Like, this was pretty much classic Mox match. He gets dominated for a little bit. Like, Big Bill, I feel like, is a step up from AR Fox last week. No offense to AR Fox. But Big Bill was definitely a worthy challenger. He stood out a bit more. During the match, Ricky Starks tries to distract Moxley, but he gets taken out by Bryan Danielson. So there's that. Then after a blocked powerbomb into a roll-up, your winner, Jon Moxley. Post-match, Ricky Starks attacks Danielson, and then Bill takes out Mox. Both of them get in the ring, start attacking Moxley. This brings out Claudio Castagnoli, who just uppercuts the taste out of Big Bill's mouth. So, we'll see what happens there. We then get a Roderick Strong interview, but as he's trying to say something, Adam Cole interrupts him, pretty much saying, look, your match against Joe tonight, it's a horrible idea, your neck's hurting, you're gonna get hurt even more. Then the Kingdom interrupts, pretty much says, oh, now he cares. And look, the Kingdom believes in me, I believe in me, I'm gonna beat Joe and win the title at Grand Slam next week. And we'll get to that match a little later. We then get a nice little promo from Don Callis and Konosuke Takeshita, pretty much hyping up Takeshita's wins over Kenny Omega, both at All In the tag match and one-on-one at All Out. And he learned in Japanese culture that once you get beat a guy a certain amount of times, you're now the ace of that promotion. Well, Konosuke isn't just the ace, he is the alpha. And not a fake alpha. So, Konosuke Takeshita from now on will be the alpha Konosuke Takeshita. I kind of like that nickname. It fits. Calls empathy weakness. Then he addresses Kenny Omega, who's probably at home. I'm going to take everything from you. I broke your body. We broke your body. But now we're going to break your heart. And it's going to kill you, Kenny. Our next target is Kota Ibushi. Unveils the picture of Takeshita and Callis standing over Ibushi with a sword through his heart. Callis continues, not only are we going to beat Ibushi, but we're going to butcher him, burn him. We're going to love spilling Ibushi's blood, and you're going to watch from home, helpless. So, nice little promo from Callis. Like, I know I'm not supposed to like Callis, but this character works. Like, he's the perfect matchup with Takeshita, who is the muscle. Hopefully we see more Don Callis family members, because I think that's what we're missing. Then we get an interview from the Blackpool Combat Club, including Jon Moxley in the back, struggling to get his shirt on after his match. Danielson pretty much says, look, I love it when things escalate. We're going to have, me and Mox are going to have a tag match on Collision against Bill and Starks. Then Ray Phoenix interrupts, pretty much says, I'm going to beat you. I'm going to beat you, man. Talking to Moxley, who has an international title match next week. And then we got a pretty big stare-off between Eddie Kingston and Claudio Castagnoli. And, Can't wait for that one. We then have an interview by Hook, the current FTW champion. But immediately, Cassidy interrupts, pretty much saying, look, I've been walking around aimlessly backstage since I lost my title, and then I saw Hook. And I saw he's a champion. He has a title. I wrestled here. I had a title. You're a great champion, Hook. But I'm so tired. And they fist bump. So, yeah, seems like we're getting alliance from Cassidy and Hook. Next up, we got a number one contenders fatal 4-way for the AEW Women's Championship at next week for Grand Slam. Participants: Toni Storm, Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, Nyla Rose, and Hikaru Shida. And I gotta tell ya, I'm a little disappointed in this match. Not to say the match wasn't good, but it got like 7 minutes. Like, Tony, please give your women some more time. And also, let's see a variety of women. We've seen those women take on each other for weeks now. Overall, match was fine. Shida hit the katana for a 2 count. Toni Storm with a stomp. And a roll-up for the victory. So she's facing her teammate, Saraya, next week. We then roll into an interview with Ruby Soho and Saraya. Saraya congratulates Toni Storm. And I'm proud. Look, things are different now in AEW now from last year. And next week, Tony, you're going to lose everything to me. You're going to lose at Grand Slam and leave with nothing. So, nice, sweet, short but sweet little promo to build up what I hope is going to be an interesting match at Grand Slam. We then get a promo by Le Sex Gods. That's Chris Jericho and Sammy Guevara. Pretty much hyping up their match next week. We've been through a lot of history together. We've been through our highs and lows. They show a little video package. Sammy Guevara then reveals, still don't know the lyrics to Judas, but I'm trying my best. Then Jericho reveals that while he was watching NWA's 70th anniversary, which that's a good couple years ago now, he saw Sammy Guevara and he was absolutely blown away. So at that moment, he called Tony Khan and asked to sign him. But he wasn't blown away by the giant panda head he wore on his head. Y'all remember that? That was nutty. And so I helped you as much as I could. I watched you've grown, and I'm proud of you. Proud of the man you've become. Then Sammy retorts, alright, look, it's obvious that everyone here wants us to talk trash usually, but I don't want to do that. Jericho, you've been my inspiration. You've changed my life, and there's no AEW without Jericho. In which, yeah, he's right. But truthfully, I didn't come here to be Jericho's sidekick. They look at me, and they look at the others from the JAS, and next week, I need to beat you. I was brought in to be a main eventer, and I want to get to the next level, and I gotta go through you to do it. And Jericho retorts, yeah, you're not ready to beat me. don't truly... Then Sammy retorts, you don't truly respect me like I do you. The man Sammy Guevara will best you, earn your respect. Then after this little spat is done, we're going to go get the tag team titles. Jericho and Sammy shake hands. Jericho brings Sammy Guevara close for a stare down. They let go and they kind of just smile. So, yeah, nice little build up for that Grand Slam match. It's going to be interesting to see what Guevara does. We then get a pre-recorded interview from MJF from last week when he's getting his neck checked on. It's revealed he's not clear to travel, so he goes down the list of, his potential opponents. Either Roderick Strong or Samoa Joe. And it's two talents I've wanted to face for a long time. Roddy, you're a wet blanket and the third wheel. And it's not about the size of Joe. It's not about the size of the fight. Dog in the fight. It's about the size of the fight and the dog. And if you're going to wrestle me, I'm going to choke you out. Then MJF, from out of nowhere, brings out his inner Scott Steiner and reiterates the Steiner Math promo. Which, if you've never seen this promo, go to YouTube, type in Steiner Math TNA. It's the best promo ever. And MJF did it beat for beat, and it was great. I lost my mind when he did that. Nice little promo from MJF. Gonna be interesting to see his match against, no spoiler alert here. So now we go into the next matchup. Ryan Cage versus Hangman Adam Page. Now this is their third encounter in AEW. Now, it wasn't their best encounter. I think their second one was their best. That was back when things were just starting to open up due to the pandemic. But overall, it was still a very, very good match. And it was won via the Deadeye, which, that's pretty interesting. So, post-match, he gets on the microphone, and Swerve Strickland is on the ramp. Pretty much says, look, what passion, drive, you can brood on the ramp while I work. I wanted my spot. 1 second I thought you had some balls, but it's very clear Appearance Nana is carrying them. Then Swerve produces a microphone from his oversized jacket. Pretty much says, those are fighting words. But we're not going to do this when you say. We're going to do this on my terms. October 1st in Seattle for Wrestle Dream. But I'm going to make sure you don't. Me and the embassy are going to make sure you don't get too comfortable. Then just as that happened, Brian Cage attacks Hangman from behind. Then coming out from the crowd is the Young Bucks, who super kick Cage. And while that's going down, Prince Nana is doing his Swerve Strickland dance. I'm not even going to attempt it. But then as he turns around, eats a super kick from the Young Bucks to end the segment. So, I was kind of hoping Hangman would do this on his own, but now that he's got backup, I'm okay with it. Then we got at least the start of a Daniel Garcia promo interview. He's asked about the Sammy Guevara Jericho situation. He then says, why can't we just talk about me? The Cardinals did my dance at their game Sunday. Career is on for Daniel Garcia. Then Don Callis interrupts, gives an invitation to the Don Callis family, which Could be cool. Then Garcia stops him, put his finger to his mouth, and does his dance. Which, I'm going to guess is a no, but we'll see. We then get some highlights from the Chris Statlander match from Collision, which was interrupted by Jade Cargill, who is getting her TBS title shot at Rampage later on tonight, which that should be a good one. Next up, little tag team match playa as Darby Allin and Nick Wayne take on Matt Menard and Angelo Parker. I do not want to say their full names. A fine match. Like, it's more than obvious Darby and Wayne were going to win. Nick Wayne, about halfway through, hits a Wayne's World, but that only leads to a 2 count. And then both men are on the top rope. Nick Wayne dives onto Menard. Coffin drop on Angelo for the team to pick up the victory. Now, this brings out Christian Cage and Luchasaurus, who are on commentary for this match. Pretty much talk about Nick Wayne's mother, which, that's creepy. So, anyway, pretty much saying, look, Darby and Sting's victory in London, it's embarrassing, and while I didn't take the loss as the teammate, I didn't have my regular partner, so next week, it's going to be Darby and Sting versus Cage and Luchasaurus, which should be a fun little matchup. Can't wait for that. Fine Alamo, our main event. The finals of the Grand Slam tournament, where the winner moves on to Dynamite Grand Slam next week to challenge MJF for his title. It's Roderick Strong versus Samoa Joe. And honestly, this was a great back and forth matchup. At one point, the Kingdom are up on the apron to distract Joe long enough for Roderick to hit an angle slam, but that only gets a 2 count. Then Joe with a surprise Coquina clutch for the submission victory. Now Joe then gets on the mic, pretty much says, Max! Seems premonition has come true, and I'm coming for you next week, and I'm going to take everything you have, kid. Then Samoa Joe leaves up the ramp, Adam Cole comes out, and then Roderick Strong starts selling his neck again. He's like, Adam! He comes to the ring, the Kingdom are in the ring. Strong gets a stretcher job, which I don't know if it's real or not. While the Kingdom are trying to keep Adam Cole away, they're pretty much saying, You've done enough! Leave him alone! And while Strong and the Kingdom are leaving, from out of nowhere, Samoa Joe comes back, Coquina clutch on Adam Cole from behind. And, that's how the show AEW Dynamite ends. A very entertaining show, to say the least, and gets me hyped up for Grand Slam. Should be a fun one. Alright, next up, we got Impact Wrestling, and it's their 1000th episode. Man, that's crazy. Even back in the day, people were counting out TNA/Impact. Here we are. And we start off with a nice little Scott D'Amore promo, going back through history, as he and EY and Team Canada were the first ones out on the episode 1 of Impact Wrestling. And then after 998 more, we're proud to be your president and celebrate Impact's history with the Knockouts division. And Gail Kim. So this brings out Gail Kim. Says a little thank you to the fans. Talk about the knockouts raising the bar. Then they show a little vignette of the history of the knockouts. Then this brings out the beautiful people. Angelina Love and Velvet Sky. Pretty much run down the video package, calling the beautiful people sections perfect. But then the rest are a bunch of ugly people, just like you, Gail. Call some security cams from Walmart. Gail Kim retorts, "You don't have to be so rude and obnoxious. Now before you talk, I can now do more than talk." This brings out Giselle Shaw and her entourage, where Shaw says, "Sorry for Gail for being rude. Welcome back, beautiful people. There's no me without you, and you paved the way, and I'm honored to take your spot." This brings out Jordan Grace and saying, "Look, I am from her generation. Nah, she's from mine. And there's been two constants, the greats, like me, like Gail Kim. And then there's the annoying bitches like you." This brings out Deonna Purrazzo. Rep my generation, age of virtuosa. And since I got here, it started when I beat you. This brings out Trinity. This was pretty much the promo train putting each other over. This brings out Awesome Kong. So it looks like they're being split into teams. But then Tasha Steelz come out pretty much saying, "You can't have history of the knockouts without me. And I'm going to take my first swing at the best who beat the best." Looking right at Kong. Then next week, I'm going to beat the biggest who beat the best. And this brings out Hardcore Country. That's right, it's the return of Mickie James. And it's revealed she's with Team Trinity. And while tonight is a night of celebration, next week it's going to be the biggest fights in Knockouts history. So, nice overly long promo highlighting the past and the present of the Knockouts division. It did get a little bit repetitive, but, whatever. Next, we got James Storm, Chris Harris, and Eric Young talking backstage. Then Santino comes in and he's like fanboying a little bit. "Oh, you were my favorite tag team back in the day." Then just off screen you hear a smash. So they walk over and it's Shark Boy. Oh, shell, yeah. And so Santino's like, "Look, I've been having some trouble controlling my roster a little bit. I could use some help with an assistant director of authority." And Shark Boy accepts. So hopefully that means Shark Boy is going to be on TV a little bit longer. But we shall see. Next, our first match of the evening. And it's my least favorite stipulation AEW Impact has ever come up with. It's Feast or Fire. Now, what that means is that you got 4 cases. They're hung above the ring. And whoever gets them gets either a world title shot, an X Division title shot, a tag team title shot, or a pink slip. Now, Impact has used this stipulation before to fire certain talents, whether that's EC3. They did it to Curryman back in the day. And honestly, I just hate it. It's no bueno. I can tell you a couple people who were in it, but I can't tell you everyone, because there was like 18 different people in this. You had Yuya Uemura and Joe Hendry, PCO, Brian Myers, Kushida, Kevin Knight, and it starts off white hot with a bunch of dives to the outside. Big old brawl between them. First man to get a case is Chris Bay, who, that's definitely very interesting. I hope he gets something out of that. Next man to get a case is Crazy Steve, and he has to use a fork to get out of the ring. Oh yeah, you don't automatically get the case once you take it down. You have to make it to the floor to win the case. Steve Macklin has a little back and forth with Yuya Uemura and Joe Hendry. Yuya then brings down a case. They then do a little pickle with Steve Macklin, and then Yuya goes to the floor and gets the third case. Macklin goes for another, takes down a case. He's in the ring, but then a nice big old pop happens, and it's Rhino who misses with ducks a case shot, hits a big old gore. The case flies off, and who picks it up? But it's Moose. So you have our 4 case recipients, and we'll see who gets what next week. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting. We then get a nice little Chris Sabin interview, who pretty much says, look, I hate to say this, Leo, I admire you. You've done everything possible to get and keep the X Division title, but I do not respect you. You've taken every shortcut in the book, but now you're looking at the first 10-time X Division champion. Nice little chill going up and down my shoulder. Next up, an unexpected return as Rohit Raju comes down the ring. He's joined by Champagne Singh, aka the Desi Hit Squad is back. So, I like this team. Definitely a team I've missed. Rohit pretty much, how can you celebrate without the Desi Hit Squad, the best team in Impact history? And if anyone has a problem with that, come on out. And then that leads to the return of Team 3D. That's right, Bubba Ray and Devon are back. And this was pretty much the greatest hits of Team 3D. They hit the wah into a neck breaker, the big old 3D for the victory. But that doesn't end there, because they set up a table in the ring and they hit a big old power bomb on Champagne Singh through it. And then post-match, they give each other a big old hug. It was nice to see Devon back. I didn't think he would be wrestling anytime soon, considering he had spinal surgery. So, nice to see him out there. We then see Josh Alexander walking backstage. He gets a little interrupted by the Rascals, who are puffing the Chiba, if you know what I mean. Josh Alexander tells him, look, you guys are a wreck. You need to clean this all up. Rascals are like, oh, yeah, funny. He then picks up either one of their gear bag, I guess, throws it down the hallway. That gets the Rascals up into Josh's face. He dares them to do something. There's 2 of you and only 1 of me. Rascals back off. This leads to a Josh Alexander promo, calling it how surreal it is that I get to do this every day. 15-year-old me would never believe I was here. And I've been a fan just like all of you, which, that's great to hear. That's great to hear Josh Alexander is such a fan of Impact. And I'm the man who never lost his title, and I'm here to make it right. This brings out Alex Shelley, who was oddly aggressive. Like, he didn't throw hands, but he, like... Let me get to the promo. Pretty much says, why can't you just wrap your head around it that this isn't yours anymore? Oh, and by the way, you're welcome. Thanks to the hard work I put in so you can earn a living. In which, damn. Then Josh pretty much says, look, no one is a bigger Alex Shelley fan than me. So yes, I do thank you. Then Shelley says, no, it sounds like you're being a bigger mark. Which, ooh, that's an interesting word to use. Then Josh continues, yes, I am a huge Alex Shelley fan. You inspired a generation. But I guess word breathes true. Don't meet your heroes. You'll only be disappointed. In which, wow, throwing some heaters out here in Impact. Then Josh Alexander goes through his accomplishments with the world title. And Alex Shelley pretty much says, look, between 2004 and 2012, I doubled that time. I've been here so much longer than you. And while you were a great champion, what's one match you didn't win against me? Now this is back to Josh. And I'm here to prove that I'm better. Why don't we just do this right here tonight? Crowd goes crazy. Rascals attack both of them. Shelley and Josh then fight them off. The Rascals get back into the ring. Josh Alexander, while Alex Shelley walks off. So that ends that segment. But then it's revealed that Shark Boy confronted the Rascals and made Zachary Wentz versus Josh Alexander for next week. That should be a fun one. Then we get a conversation between Santino and someone else. Kenny King rolls up, pretty much says, like, I want my rematch with Dreamer. I want my match with Heath. Santino says, look, that's not possible right now. Dreamer's off on assignment. But there is an Impact original walking around with the same fire as you. And Kenny King, you're going to take him on next week. It's going to be Eric Young. So, that should be a fun one. Next match of the evening, and it's an intergender match, tag team match playa, as Eddie and Alicia Edwards take on Frankie Kazarian and Tracy Brooks. And honestly, this was a fun little fight. It was definitely less than a match. It was absolutely a fight. Tracy picks up the win for her team with a fade to black. Now, post-match, we get a nice little surprise as Frankie brings in their son and tells Tracy, look, take a look at the big screen. We have some highlights from Tracy Brooks' career in TNA/Impact. Then it's revealed Tracy Brooks is going to be joining Don Callis and Mike Tenay in the Impact Hall of Fame, which very much deserved. Can't wait to see that. Impact Hall of Fame is going to be stacked this year. We then get a short but sweet Lio Rush interview, where the interviewer asks, how are you feeling? Lio Rush answers, how am I feeling? I'm feeling great. You should be asking how Sabin's feeling. He's feeling shook. He's scared. Do you remember what happened at Slammiversary? I'm not worried about Chris. I'm going to give him his title shot. His shot to beat me. And Chris, I'm going to be coming in hot, same as always. We then get a nice Tommy Dreamer promo, pretty much saying, Victory Road was the greatest night of my life. Wrestling is about creating moments. I cannot thank Impact enough. And as for this, the digital media title, I'm going to defend this against anyone, anywhere. So, Dreamer taking that title international, it appears. And finally, we got the X Division title rematch we've been waiting to see as Chris Sabin takes on Lio Rush. And honestly, they repeated the spot for Slammiversary. Chris Sabin plays a little possum, tries for a pin, that doesn't work. Multiple times goes for the cradle shock. Lio Rush slips out of it. Goes for a final hour, only gets a 2 count. Then after a super kick, Tanaka punch, shell shock, into the cradle shock, your winner, new X Division champion, Chris Sabin. This brings out the rest of the face roster, including Chris Bay and Ace Austin for whatever reason. And they put Sabin up on their shoulders to celebrate. Impact 1000 was an absolutely great episode. And it also continues next week, which I am very excited for. Should be a fun one. And that leads us to our main show. It's MLW Fusion, as we start off with TJ Crawford taking on Ichiban, who really showed out at Fury Road. And honestly, Ichiban, I really enjoy Ichiban's stuff. TJ Crawford brought it too. But, end of the day, after a Ichiban tie, which is looks like a bulldog type move, your winner, Ichiban. But then, as TJ Crawford's leaving the ring, a hooded figure comes from backstage, goes right up to Crawford and whispers something in his ear, and they both leave together. Not 100% sure what's going on there, but it piques my interest. So then we get a little Second Gear Crew and Microman powwow backstage, of course by the bar. Matt Warner telling Microman, look, we believe in you, dude. You can beat Sam Adonis. And at the end of the night, we're going to celebrate with drinks and women, which that feels way too out of date. And tonight, we got your back in case Adonis tries something. And we're going to have your back. And then we go right into a Sam Adonis interview, saying he's quite excited. Calls Microman Mexico's favorite son. But just like Microman, the entire country of Mexico looks up to me. I'm Mexico's top luchador, and I'm going to teach Microman a lesson in respect. So, going to be interesting to see what that match has in store. We then get Love Doug on commentary for this next match, as Tiara James, making her MLW debut, takes on Becca. And honestly, this match was definitely a surprise. I've never seen Tiara James wrestle before, and she really brought it to Becca. But then Becca hits a big old suplex into the World Tour to pick up the victory. And as she's leaving, Love Doug, who's on commentary, picks up the sign, tries to celebrate with her, but Becca just kind of waves him off, which I just want to see Love Doug happy, man. Next up, it is revealed Don King, the promoter of the Bumae Fight Club, is coming to MLW next week. Then we get the big Salina De La Renta interview. Pretty much saying, look, I've been dealing with a moron in Cesar Duran, but now he messed with me, I hit back. And look what happened to Cesar. Next week, I'm going to be dropping some bombshells, and I'm going to be bringing the fight. We then get a nice little Jacob Fatu interview. He's saying, I'm ready for this. I'm ready for Suzuki. But Suzuki, are you ready for me? MLW opened up these doors, and I'm all gas, no brakes. And then Salina De La Renta interrupts. Pretty much says, look, I've not forgiven what you did to me at Super Fight 19, and the receipt is coming your way. In which, alright, she's going after Jacob Fatu, which could be interesting. Then we get our main event of the evening. We got Microman versus Sam Adonis, who, to start off, gets on his, gets knees onto Microman's level, locks up for a bit, and then just starts tossing him around. This is definitely a bit of a one-sided fight. Microman did try to come back, but that gets immediately stopped. Adonis then tries to take off Microman's mask, which in lucha culture, it's very, very bad to go after another man's mask, which is why there's so many mask versus mask matches. Chris Adonis then gets a chair, sets it up, gets Microman to sit in it, super kick right to the face to knock him out of the chair. But then Microman tries to fight back. It's a big old DDT for a 2 count. But then out comes Gene Snitsky and Mr. St. Laurent, who start, beating down on Microman for a bit. Then Sam Adonis, so the match gets thrown out. Match, no contest, which I'm a little disappointed by that, but I can understand why. You don't want Microman beating someone like Sam Adonis. They then have Microman set up for a punt that was stopped last week. Then the second gear crew makes the save. Keeps Sam Adonis in the ring. And then Microman, getting help from the second gear crew, big old frog splash from the top, and a full 3 count. So, nice fun little finish. We'll see what's next for this feud, because I gotta say, I'm hooked. Then we get an interview with Alex King. Who's pretty much asking, who's next? Everyone's stepping back. I'm guaranteeing a shot against anyone. Then in comes Mr. St. Laurent, who pretty much says, look, right now, Davey Boy, who just won the Opera Cup, he's ready to go. And then Alex King's like, yeah, I'll take it into consideration. So that's it for that segment. Then we get a backstage look as the second gear crew and the Calling are brawling. And then from out of nowhere, Jimmy Lloyd, who's another GCW guy, gets involved and takes on Mance Warner. So does that mean Jimmy is with the Calling? Or is he on his own? I guess we're going to have to wait and see. Alright, that is it from me, guys. I hope you all enjoyed. Please like, comment, subscribe if you haven't. And now on Monday will be the rest of the week in wrestling. So that's going to be Ring of Honor, SmackDown, and Rampage and Collision. I'm probably not doing it on Sunday because, I want to watch some football. So, until next time, Happy wrestling, everybody. Peace.